a lot of people in here that are definitely bootstrapping, right? And there is a little bit of a cognitive leap there, I think, for a lot of people to say, oh, well, the best time to raise money is when you don't need to raise money, right? So when you're at that point where you have no money, like how you did it. So how, like, any pieces of advice or tips you can give to those people that are genuinely trying to build something, trying to solve a problem for a customer, but just need to be able to get to that point where they have some customers, and then they have the ability, they have options, right?
So for me, one of the key principles that I learned and I kind of communicated frequently to my team is that at that point, customers are your best investors, and I still believe up until this point today that customers are still our best investors. And I don't mean trying to raise capital from them. What I mean is that they give you the revenue which funds the business, and that's their most honest, kind of fair money you can get. Right? They're paying you because you're providing value to them, and that's extremely helpful kind of in the early days. Back then, when I started, freemium was getting kind of starting to get popular as a model, and I certainly appreciated and liked it. But I couldn't afford freemium for my business, right? I couldn't wait 1 or 2 years to monetize, so I had to kind of live with a simple mantra that if I build a product that provides value for the customer, specifically in B2B, they should be ready for that. They're ready to pay for that product. And if they're not ready to pay, it means that I'm not providing their value. So it also becomes kind of a very honest and brutal feedback loop, right? Which is good. I know like the word brutal is not good, but having the feedback loop is very important. Understanding that, hey, what you're building truly helps them solve their problems. Also, they're paying you and not your competitor, right? So you should be doing something better. And I still remember a funny conversation with one of my friends. He was like, "Hey, you gotta you got this competitor Basecamp, and they're much cheaper than you." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I've got a much better product." Right?
Right.
or or I remember another conversation where like, "Hey." Like a customer called and I'm like, well, but you guys are different from Basecamp, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, why? I'm like, well, do you like Basecamp? Does it solve your problems? He's like, no. Well, that's why we're different from Basecamp, right?